A Journey to Suicide, a veteran's story. We read in the news about veterans coming home from the war with PTSD, and many committed suicide. The numbers are staggering. According to the latest news, 22 veterans commit suicide every day. Why, we ask? Why does a person that served his country in a war and fought bravely come home and surrender to suicide? Was not the fiercest battle already won? Was not the most stressful and demanding times of one's soul spent on a battlefield? Every day, a veteran commits suicide. There is help according to politics and organizations. All the veteran has to do is call a 1-800-000 number, then press 1 or is it 2, then wait and press 4 or is it 5. If you order a pizza, you get a real person. If you want your cable fixed, you call and a real person answers. If you want to commit suicide or at least ask for help, you have to call another number and try to remember which other numbers to press in sequence. A person has come to the lowest levels of their lives and calls and only hears a recording. This person does not have it in them to remember a longer number and sequence of buttons to press. Welcome to the Veterans Clinic and Veterans Hospital Answering Service. On a battlefield, a soldier knows someone has his back. He knows that if things get rough, those around him will be there. No matter how bad it gets, his buddies will be there. The battles are intense, the losses are great, but still the buddies are there. One may get shot, lose an arm, an eye, but it's not so bad as long as he feels his buddies are there and he's not alone. Then one day, a wounded warrior or a veteran wakes up in pain, and no one is there. So he calls and tries to remember what number to push for his team. He pushes another number, but there's no answer as the phone rings and rings and rings. His frustration is almost as painful as his injury, but no one is there. No one returns the call. The darkness around him gets darker. The shadows come back. The memories thunder in his head. He reaches for his buddy, but only his echoes are heard. Depression is not a one-step emotion. Depression is brought on by a progression of emotional events that lead one to the feeling of inadequacy, solitude, and uselessness. Depression has not boundaries of economic levels or race. Depression has no standards or limits. Depression has levels of its own. Depression is like a cancer of emotions that can eat one's flesh and soul. The darkness it leaves suffocates till there's no breath at all. The pain becomes unbearable, so he went to the VA and told them. They scheduled him for an appointment in 3 months. In 3 months. In 3 months. 3 months come and finally he is seen. But wait, what he has is not their fault. What he has is not connected, they say. This pain is not connected. So the veteran with his pain is sent to another building. Take another number. Wait some more. You need more information. You need your medical records. We can get them, but it'll take up to 6 months. 6 months to wait to see if some high court will determine if this veteran can get treated for the pain he has carried for so long. Every day there are 22 veterans that commit suicide. Veteran, take these papers to your team and let them fill them out. Then bring them back and we'll submit them. This may take a few months to be paid, so be patient. Every day there are 22 veterans that commit suicide. The veteran takes the papers and goes to the VA. His leg is hurting and swollen, but he won't let anybody notice. He walks into his team and waits in line. His name is called and he walks up feeling better because someone is finally going to listen. He hands the papers to the receptionist. "What is this?" she scolds. He explains he was given those for his doctor on his team to fill out for disability and to determine the connection so he can get seen. "I have never seen these, and our doctor does not have time for these papers. Take them to the disability office." Every day there are 22 veterans that commit suicide. There's a number machine at the office for the disability claims. The veteran pulls a tab and goes to sit down. There are no seats, so he stands and waits. Leaning on a stick, he waits and waits with his papers in his hand. Finally, after an hour, his number is called. He hands a paper to a lady and tells her that his team said they don't do this and to bring them here. The lady writes down her name and phone number and tells the veteran to go back to his team and give them back the papers. It is their job. Every day there are 22 veterans that commit suicide. Suicide is painless. It brings on so many changes. The veteran takes the papers back to his team and hands them to another receptionist. He tells them what the disability office said. This time they take the papers and tell him they will call him when they are ready. It may take a couple of weeks. The veteran goes home still in pain, but hopeful that someone will listen. The pain becomes unbearable and he goes to a walk-in clinic because he knows the VA will not see him immediately. An ambulance arrives and takes him to the ER at a local hospital. He will be staying there a few days. Every day there are 22 veterans that commit suicide. A week passes by and a few days, and then there's a message on his phone. The VA says the papers are ready. The papers the doc filled that he left to fill out are ready for pickup. The veteran smiles through the pain and heads to the VA office in the morning. He arrives at the office of his team and waits to be called, and then waits. Then he is called and approaches the desk. He states his name and last four. He tells them he is there to pick up the papers. They don't have them anymore. They are not sure why they don't, but they do not have them. And they said the doctor did not fill them out because it is not his job. The veteran is told that maybe the papers went to the Wreaths of Records, another office. The veteran leans on his walking stick and proceeds outside. He stands trembling and looks towards his car. Then he looks towards the main building. He looks again both ways and stands there for over 10 minutes. It is hard to breathe now. He loses all strength to go on. He loses all reason to want to. Where are his buddies? Why does he feel so alone? The pain in his leg is numb. It doesn't hurt as much anymore because it doesn't matter. I stood there for over 10 minutes not knowing what to do. Why should I go on? Why should I try? 19 and a half years I gave to my country. Would give another 30 if I would not have been injured. 19 and a half damn years. Every day there are 22 veterans that commit suicide. I finally made it to my car. I sat there and then moved the car to a more isolated part of the parking lot where no one could see me. I did not know what to do. I felt so alone, so useless. I could not get a job with so much pain. I could not support my children without a job. I sat in my car and wept. Now I understand. Every day there are 23 veterans that commit suicide. You see, I am a veteran. I'm a Navy chief and a single parent. I did those 19 years. I've read the statistics of why veterans commit suicide. And it's not a lot of times because of the war. It's about how they get treated back home and how they're left alone in the dark. Some gave up their lives, some gave up their minds, some gave up parts of their body after the war for this country. And now they feel the country turned their back. 22 veterans a day commit suicide. 22. Are we waiting for that to increase to 23, 24, 25? They're not asking for something that's not theirs. They're just asking for a little respect. That's all. Just a little respect. Every day, there are 22 veterans that commit suicide.